Okay, good afternoon, folks. I hope everyone is well. It's Friday, the 22nd of November. Okay, so we ranging, I think, overnight. Not a lot. Not a lot of volume compared to the night before. We had a huge amount earlier, but it was swinging like crazy yesterday, so it does seem to have slowed down a little bit. So, Ionis, how you doing? Daryl, good morning to you. FSN, how you doing? Speedy, how you doing, pal? So, is this climbing up here? I dare say quite possibly. Let me just see if there's something like that. Maybe there is. I think it's pretty much ranging anyway. So we've had a break, 2 pushes up to a new high. So I'd say this to me looks like it's starting off as a range. So channel break, new high. I did look at this, but the trouble is when it's sideways like this, a lot of times it'll move up, come down and stop them out and then push up, and it didn't. Or did it? Yeah, it did. Stopped any of those out by 1 tick or 1 or 2 ticks. And I have been doing a little bit on an evaluation, so that's up about $2,400–2,500 now. So we'll see. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so we have got news coming up in 15 minutes, so we just have to be a little bit careful. Let me just open my orders. Just check
order
everything's
submitted.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect.
Order
okay.
cancelled.
So yeah, break 1, 2 pushes up to a new high. So it's hard to know where this thing is, where it's going, but depends how you look at this. I've got this as the top of the range. Thomas Wade has got this. I don't think it really matters too much. He's got that down there. Well, that breaks, doesn't it, really? So the trouble is, if you have it too low, you might be inclined to short that back into the chart, but it's back into the range. But I would tend to put that there, and if it broke up above here. But to me, we've had 2 push up to a new high. It's hard to know whether this thing's going to go on. There could be a wider channel there. Actually, let's just make that a little bit steeper. Let's put it from there. In fact, that's probably where I had it, actually. So it's possible. I'm not going to assume, no. I don't like it, actually, not at the moment. It's a bit too early. If it comes back and bounces here and continues up, then I'll adjust things. But so this is just sitting waiting at the moment, I think. Price. It's been a good week for me this week. I think I'm up $800 or $900, $800, something like that per account. So it's not been a bad week for me. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, $800 or $900, something like that. I think that's perfect if you can get that per account. My target, well, I say target, it's a soft target, let's call it. I don't like to sort of have monetary targets because, you know, if the market doesn't offer you anything, there's nothing you can kind of do. But where I'd like to be, if I could, would be about $600, 2 trades a week. And I've had 3 this week, so it's been a good week. So extra cautious on Friday. Last thing you want to do is, well, I say it doesn't bother me as much now, but I always either like to end 0 or green on a Friday, so I tend to get extra cautious. So we've bounced a couple of times there. Let's see what happens. But we've had a break, 2 pushes to a new high, so I'd take a failure below that EMA. Having said that, you've got to be extra cautious just in case there is a larger channel up there. Whether there is or not, I don't know. It might be a bit early. So if you'd have taken that short, you'd be trapped now. I wouldn't want to be in that short now. There is some support there, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Quite often that first setup traps, but you never know, you may get lucky. Tony, how you doing, buddy? So, okay, so it triggered pullback, but it didn't stop you out. So is there a second entry long here? There may be. For me, if this triggers below it has and pushes up, that might be an indication that we are pushing up in a way. It could certainly, it certainly looks like it. There's a second entry long there. Now, to me, this is a tough one to take, this is, because we bounced 3 times there. To me, it kind of looks like there may be a channel, but it's a maybe. We're also hitting range highs, so I'm glad it kind of finished as a doji and it never triggered, because I think it's dangerous going along there. Now, bearing in mind we've had a break, we could continue high, but we have, as we know, the market likes to move in twos, and it has done to the top, and we've had some support. So even if that would have triggered, for me, it's a little bit risky. Good point. News. Yeah, it's very easy to forget that, isn't it? You got to be careful taking a long trade here, because we've bounced once, bounced twice, and that could trap you. My gut feeling is this is going to trap some longs and come down, but that is just a gut feeling, just based on things, you know, what I've seen happen before. That, to me, it is moving up, but it doesn't look like it's moving a channel. It just, because that's steeper, it just looks like 2 legs to me to a new high. So let's see what happens now. My gut feeling is these are going to get trapped and that's going to come down. Let me just turn this down. Someone's been pestering me today. Phone him. Right, there is a failure there. Unfortunately, the news is in 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes. It hasn't triggered anyway. But if this comes down very bearish, okay, channel down. We could have a break and then a new low, or it could go up. The trouble is, it's crunch time here, really, isn't it? Leg. Now, we could get another leg up. It could continue up. Jan, how you doing, buddy? Brant, how you doing, mate? I sold the top, unfortunately. Stopped out for a small game. Was hoping. Hold in the middle of the range. Yeah, it's hard to know here because it's kind of leapfrogging, if you like. That's why I never got involved in anything there, because it could have continued up or it could have bounced and come down. If it had done it 3 times, this to me is once. This is just a little pullback on the way down, and this is second time. If it had come back then in the 3rd time, I may have thought more back into the range. So that's the trouble when it's so early. Let's just keep that in my eye line. Funnily enough, although it's big lettering and a big red background, when you focus on the market, it's very easy to forget you got that there. So, in fact, let's put that there and see if there's something larger building there, because there may well be. Let's see where this comes down to. Probably going to say there. So we got a leg up, and there's a leg and a leg. I went long here when it triggered in on evaluation, and it went slow initially, but then pushed up. No, tell a lie. Where was it? It was down here. I got out here somewhere. Okay, so this is making better sense now. So that allows me to take that up there. And I prefer that to go a little bit higher. So that would kind of be... I'm not sure about that. Maybe it is just there. So that is feasible. Whether it will work or not, I don't know. So let's... somewhere about there. So that is an area where it could head to. So how's Bitcoin? Is it hit 100,000 yesterday? At all today? I think it's literally within spitting distance away, isn't it? Let me have a look. Let's have a look. 98, just under... oh, it's dropped a little bit. 97.7. But I don't think we're far away from... it went up to 99,500. There's going to be people taking profits there. It makes sense. A bit of a pullback. But then I think once it breaks through that 100,000, I think it could launch, can it? There's so many people interested in Bitcoin now, isn't there? You know, whereas kind of the last bull run now, we're kind of 3 years on, there's a lot more interest in it from, you know, the bigger players. So Solana, $255. I can't believe I bought that at $18. Sold them at about 23. Oh. XRPs. I don't know, there's a lot been said about XRP. They had that court case going on with the SEC, didn't they, for God knows how long. But it's just launched. In the last 30 days, gone up 170%. I didn't think I'd say that. Doge doing well. That went down to about 5 cents. That's up just under 40. Cardano's doing well as well. That's up 150% in the last 30 days. Avalanche on the last 30 days, 44%. So I did say to you, Jan, did I? Did I say hi? I think I did. So, news, where are we? 1 minute. So, Siri's interested me as well. I've heard a lot of that. XLM up 21% today. H-bar. I have got some H-bar. I like H-bar. That's up 150%. Did I buy that? About 7 cents, I think. Selfishly, I'd love a huge correction to buy it. I don't doubt we'll get it, to be fair. That's the thing with corrections. You've got to put up with them, haven't you? Because it really can swing. But I think you've just got to get in early and just hold. But my plan was all along, when my initial investment doubles, I take back out my initial investment, which then is free money. And that's kind of what I did. And then whenever we get a pullback, I'll buy a little bit more of something that interests me that may not have had much of a push. Render hasn't done a lot. I've got some Render. I've also got some Ondo as well. That hasn't done much. Ondo, that's up 30% in the last 30 days, but some will push more than others. But if I was a young lad again, I'd wait for Bitcoin to come down. When it gets, say, around about $50,000, I'd start putting in. What a pension you could potentially have from Bitcoin. So we're about 30 seconds away from the news. We're very close to that second leg. We've had a little break out of that. Maybe a break, maybe an overshoot. It's not massively convincing, this. I would prefer to get it to find somewhere. Sometimes when you break out the top, you can readjust the bottom, bring the bottom down. So look at that. Still blows my mind, that does. So, news, any second. Oh, tell a lie. No, news is done. 46. Okay, so that must have been that little spike there. I decided to stop with crypto, but I got out just before the bull run. Yeah, it's very easy to get chopped up with it. I did the first time. I didn't know much about it, but over the last couple of years, I've been educating myself a little bit because you can make some money out of crypto. It's not rocket science, but you just need to learn a few simple things, don't you? The kind of the right times to take interest in. I mean, certain cryptos. I mean, things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, or ADA, something like that. If you can have a chunk of those, I think you'll do all right, even if you want to buy a little bit and sit on it long term. for me, the most confusing part for newbies is how the hell to keep it, where to buy, how to buy it. It's not simple. It's tricky for newer people. I mean, if you want to put your software on a cold wallet, it's not that simple. Sending crypto around, people get confused. Do I own it if it's on an exchange? Obviously, if so. And if you're investing small bits as well, when I first started getting into some crypto, some of the gas fees, I was paying $75 for a few $100s worth of just gas fees. So it needs to be simplified really over the next few years. And, I think a lot more get in, but it is complicated for people. They just don't get it. I don't fully understand the ins and out with it, but at least I know how to send it from one place to another. But it is confusing for new people. So we've had the news, so we can get rid of that. We got there's some medium impact news in about 12 minutes. Doesn't usually do much, but if you remember, a couple of months ago we had a rather large spike, didn't we, of about 15 or 20 points quite quick, and that was down to medium impact news. So, but yeah, I think what I'll do is when we eventually finish this bull run, as it starts to go down, I'll start buying little bits. Again, trouble is there's that much stuff on YouTube. 1 minute, the frustrating thing about bloody YouTubers is 1 minute they're making these massive thumbnails saying Bitcoin going up to 200,000, and then next minute showing a spaceship coming down, we're doomed, and you don't know whether you're coming or going. So I think you've got to identify certain people and kind of take your advice from them. There is a couple of 2 or 3 that I tend to follow that are kind of very accurate, and they don't, they're not all sort of doom and gloom 1 minute and then, we're all going to be millionaires the next minute. There's plenty of people out like that. Okay, that measured moves hit beautifully. So we're generally moving up at the moment, aren't we? So we pull up, we have a couple of legs back and we're off again. So let's have a look. It was a funny old day yesterday, wasn't it? That chunk of the day, it did slow down a little bit, but those big swings of 50 points up and down really quickly. We haven't seen stuff like that for a while. But no, yeah, corrections. You're going to get corrections in crypto. That's the other good times to get in. I made loads of mistakes. You see the thing go up 15% and you think, yeah, you jump in, and then the following day it's down like 12%. So it's quite hard to tell newbies, and I'm including myself in newbies, to wait for it pull back, because when you see it going up, you just kind of want a piece of it. But the sensible thing to do is when we have a decent pullback, 10 or 15 or 10, 15, 20%, something like that, the chance of you making money pretty quickly then just jumps up dramatically. So we got a leg and a leg. It's not much you can do here, really. Depending on how you look at that, there may be an overshoot. Often we'll get an overshoot. As we know, we'll get a new high and the thing will drop. Sometimes we get a deeper correction. But as that's had an overshoot, pull back, in fact, we had one overshoot and then 2 pushes up. So whether this will bounce here or not, but I'm not getting into a long trade here at the moment. Okay, let's just adjust things. Thomas Way's got this as a bigger channel now. He's got it there. Trouble is, we're going to break now, see, so I don't know. I don't know whether I like that or not. It may be okay. But how I add it with an overshoot, new high and then a drop kind of makes sense, but I'll leave it there for now. Touch, 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 touch. Yeah, maybe it's not so bad. I mean, this pullback here, quite likely because of the measured leg anyway, so, or break as it is in this case. Trouble is, if it is an overshoot, getting straight into a long can be dangerous. But the fact that we've had a break would stop me getting too long anyway until we had something substantial, leg and a leg or something. So channel break. In fact, you may argue there's a small break there. Okay, high or low, too risky just at the moment. A failure, a second entry short here that triggers. Trouble is, whenever, you know, and I see this all the time, and I mention it all the time, whenever you have a move like that, it very rarely just drops and pushes up. So I'm always really careful about this. I prefer to see a leg up and then a leg down before we then move up. Just jumping in here straight away makes me nervous. Sometimes I see Thomas Wade looking for something here. Just makes me nervous, that. And there is obviously the possibility, it's a little bit flat there, that this just may be the top of the range and we could come down, who knows. Sacred Geometry. I like that. That's a nice name, that is. Sacred Geometry. Yeah, I like that myself. You're a new face. I've not seen you before. I recognise that name. Where are you from? It's nice to have some new faces in. Sacred Geometry. Some people have really cool names, don't they? Or handles or whatever you want to call them. Showing me ages now saying handles. Ways to score. Oh, okay. It's been there a while now. Okay, so I'm in here as well now. Well, I say now. I've been in here for about 5 months, I think. It's actually, I found this a lot valuable, actually. There's some good traders in here. There's no idiots. There's no stupid stuff or spam or none of that. It's managed really well. Thomas Wade's here, Marco's here as well, your good self as well, and another guy like is Taylor as well. So there's some good names. Sam's in there as well, as we know, is a friend of ours. 5 trader. So some good traders in, and I like this as well. See, for me, I'm still relatively new to trading. I've only been trading 4 years, which in itself is not a huge amount of time. So the odd time I like to have a look in there as well and just confirm if I'm not sure. Sometimes you don't know whether there was a spike in channel there. So it's nice to just have a look and confirm a lot familiar names to me. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's worth its weight in gold to be in something like that. Okay, so we got a channel. There's a break and a new low there and then a retest. So I don't think I'd want to take a long year just yet with this, because we could make another attempt before we push up. It's 15 ticks. We may have a leg and it may come down again. It just, for me, it doesn't often do that and push straight up in a channel that large. That's my concern with taking a long year, because sometimes it'll come back down again. That's the trouble with taking something like that. I'd much prefer a leg and a leg, so I'm always cautious. It may hold, but my gut feeling tells me I'm glad I didn't take it. There is a failure here on my other chart, but it is a bit congested. This other chart there, the one with the break under day, there is a failure there trapping that bearish bar. 3 minutes to the news. Yeah, we got some medium impact news. Doesn't do a huge amount, but I think it's worth paying attention to it. So it did hold that. It was a couple of ticks, but then it starts stacking up a bit there, which makes me a little bit more cautious. What's that? The ATR is quite large today. Yeah, sometimes we'll have a couple of legs, won't we? I'm just looking for anything that may line up here. Skip stream took it. Where did he get in? He took that one, I think, on a pullback. Yeah, he took that on a limit order. Yeah, it you know, it doesn't often do that, have a break and then push straight up. And if it does that, my experience is it's usually because there's a wider channel in play and it's going to continue up. But as a general break from a channel, the bigger the channel, as we know, it usually takes a scenic route, leg and a leg, or, sometimes it'll range a bit before it pushes up. And usually then I'd say because there's a bigger channel. Now, if I line up the tops there, this is a bit of an experiment here. If I line the tops up there to there and bring them to the bottom, let's see where this falls, right down there. So I think the reason that's pushed up so quick is because there's another channel in play here, a larger channel. It is a bit too early to confirm it, but it's just funny when I line the two top ones up there and then brought it to there. In fact, I can come out a fraction. Look how nice that lines up with the bottom. So maybe there is a larger channel there. The fact that that had a break and pushed straight up made me think that there may be something larger in play. Took the fail second entry short. Yeah, I noticed it on my other chart. It looked a lot better there. Second entry short, trapping short. You wouldn't want to go short here after a break. So for me, second entry short like that, because straight away there's going to be shorts thinking, oh yeah, we trapped those balls. Now we're going down for another leg. And then all of a sudden that's something. But I think it was, was it 15 ticks or something? So yeah, I don't know. Sometimes if you hesitate and you think, sometimes you get caught out there. So we've got up to there. We haven't made a new high. We've bounced. So I wonder now whether we're going to range a little here. So I got two schools of thought anyway. The normal channel I had and maybe something wider. As I say, it doesn't often just break like that and then push straight up. So I got two schools of thought here anyway. So we know we've had a nice measured leg anyway, so that's played off. So let's see what happens here. I would prefer channel up, one leg down, two legs down, and then a strong move up to continue higher. We are bullish at the moment. Generally, we're going up day by day, aren't we, at the moment? There's some strange stuff going on in the news at the moment. Apparently, if Netanyahu steps foot in the UK, he's going to be arrested. I don't know how we can say that. We can decide to go into Iraq based on weapons, so-called weapons of mass destruction, which didn't exist, and we're okay to do that. But when another country defends itself, you can't go in. I mean, look, as terrible as innocent lives are, we can't say that we've never sort of had it. I mean, look at Iraq and places like that. There's a lot of innocent people that we've been responsible for. So I don't know how we have the neck to say that to some countries. I really don't. British can be so stuck up sometimes. They think if they do it, it's right, and another country does it, it's wrong. So we came back down and bounced on that line again. So there's a lower high there. See, maybe trap some longs there. So I'm just wondering whether we're going to come down for another leg here. Yeah, I think I wouldn't take that. It is a second entry long, whatever you want to call it, but this is my gut feeling is this may pull back a little bit more. The way it's bounced at the top, the way we got a touch here, I wouldn't be shocked if this comes down and we have a little bit of a range going on here. Oh, that annoys me, that does, trying to get that lined up. So, leg and a leg. Not only that, if you add this other channel. Okay, so channel up. One attempt to go lower, second attempt. I'd like to see a bounce on here. This could be a penguin style trade, actually. So that's kind of what I was hoping would happen. So leg up, nice correction. So possible triple test here. Let's have a look. You've still got to be a little bit careful. So 2 legs back. Now penguin wouldn't take a trade until it gets around about that EMA or closes above that EMA. That's going to be too far for me. 2, 4, 6. That's 6, 7 points off the bottom. So that one's going to get stopped out, I'd say anyway. I wouldn't buy that. It's floating off that bottom. Risky, I think. So I'd like to see that break below there, have a little drop out and sit bullish. And I may take a higher low. So there we go. So if you did decide to take that, it's just too early there. So I'd love a nice bullish bar off the bottom here. There's one off. There's one on my other chart. I would just prefer to see that sitting on that line, really. Let's just get an order ready.
Order submitted.
Any news is all done and dusted. So, leg and a leg. I like that strong move off there. Now, there is a possibility of that channel with a break, an attempt to make a new low. There is a possibility it could come down, but that angle like that for me is more likely going to go up. That moved up very strong off there, which tells me there's buy-in here. Might like a higher low off here. 11 ticks. Ooh. No, I don't like that. Something I don't like that. Hasn't triggered anyway.
Order cancelled.
So it depends how you look at this. Unfortunately, because of the possible break, I can't take a long gear because it may trigger you and come down in this channel. Because the channel how we originally had it, looked like it had a break. Although it is a leg and maybe it'll work. Sit out this. So just for now, I'm going to put that back where it was. Okay, so I'm just sitting tight at the moment, really. I don't want to take longs or short. You may think about the break out the range. This for me is not what I would consider strong range just yet. And this to me looks like it is a channel. And if there is a range and there's buyers off this bottom, that's triggered them and pushed off. So 2 legs back, there's bound to be traders taking that, thinking it's going to push to the top. Maybe on not this chart, but this chart looked better for buying. You may have bought that one, see, 2 legs back. It's very tempted myself, but thinking it's going to push up. So channel break, attempted a new high. We're not far off. So leg down, you may consider that an overshoot. You may think about this now as a failed breakout of this range. It's not ranged enough really for me to trade it as a failed breakout because we've only had a couple of bounces. It's kind of leg and a leg, and that would mean every time we have 2 legs down you make a range. It doesn't always work that way. Maybe that. Let's just have a little look. Your range here, yeah, I'm just on the fence here. I'm not sure whether this thing is, is coming down. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the larger one, yeah. I mean, there could just be a bigger range. Obviously, you'd have to see this come down a bit first, really, wouldn't you? But trouble is, it's so easy to get stuck here. If it is 2 legs back, or if it is a range, it could be a range that fails and it pushes up. But this, to me, is looking like a channel. So I wouldn't want to go long. And I wouldn't necessarily want to go short just in case it does pull up. But this, to me, is looking more like it's going to move down, I think. I mean, there could have already been a break. Depends how you look. You've got your channel. Maybe have it like that. Like that. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if we've already had a break. I mean, we've got a channel there with a break. So I don't know. It's you know, sometimes these markets are easy to read. Other times they're just, you can't seem to figure out what's right for the best. But if we can get 2 legs back up here, I'd be tempting to go short there. You have got to be careful. This isn't fair. I don't think it's rangy enough for me to concern myself with trading it. So I would say, personally, I'll be looking for a short
Order
here.
submitted.
You may say that may have been an overshoot, in which case we've had a decent correction. I want that to break higher. That's what I want.
Order cancelled. It didn't look too bad on my other chart. The only issue I have, I'm not a fan of trading on almost a full bar. I got no idea why. It just pushed up and then it pulled down. You don't know whether it's going to push up again. So it is a second entry short. Just not a fan of this at the moment. Lower high, maybe. Trouble is, we are bouncing off the overnight. Oh no! Oh yes, we are. We're bouncing off the overnights there. So I don't know. It could go higher. It's hard to say at the moment. Maybe a lower high might be a better option. 2 legs up, bearish bar, lower high. If I take a trade, then I'll let you know. But we haven't broken above it yet, so maybe this will come down. So there is a lower high there. I just don't like the way this is stacked. So I'll zoom out here. leg and a leg. We need a nice lower high, really, and we just haven't got one at the moment. I don't like all this choppiness. My gut feeling is it's probably going to come down. I like the fact that we're struggling to get above this line here, which is that, well, overnight highs, we're kind of under them, aren't we? We've had two pushes up and then it kind of dropped. So my guess is it's more likely to come down, but you've got to get a decent setup. I don't like all this choppy stuff. We've got to get a substantial push up, trap some balls, and then come down, and that will be a leg and a leg. So I'm going to get an order ready just in case.
Order submitted.
Because this market's moving around a bit, so it may move quick. Okay, channel, two pushes up. Let's see how this one works. So, leg and a leg. My gut feeling is this is probably going to come down, but that's no good for me. Okay, there's a higher low there on my other chart.
Order submitted.
Okay, I'm in a trade here. Which I don't like. It's a bigger risk than I would have wanted. In fact, I'm going to get out of this as soon as I can. There is a lower high there, maybe a triple test, we'll see. Let's put that there. I think that's a better option. It is a lower high. I like the setup, but it's just making me nervous for some reason.
Target filled.
God for that. I just didn't like that trade. It's worked okay anyway, so God for that. Well, that was nerve-wracking. Nerve-wracking. Oh dear. That was nerve-wracking. I so wanted to get out there. I wanted to hold on a bit more, but I took it on the other one. But then when we had the lower high, that was the better option, so I moved my stop there. But it probably went a bit more, but I don't know. 300 is enough for me nowadays. I don't like what it is. Anyway, there's 3 points there over my account, so that's it's okay. So what do we call that? Triple test, I suppose. It was a triple test on the other one. Trapping some longs. I'll show you where I actually took it. It was that bar there. When we had a higher low there. When it broke there, I put my order. As soon as it hit there, I took my short there. So my stop would have gone above. Well, no, because engulfing it would have gone above here, wouldn't it? My stop. But then I put my stop up here, and it was like 450 point risk or something stupid like that. I put it there, but then because I don't often take engulfing candles, but we got 2 legs up, and then when we have the higher low, there's going to be traders thinking about long, and it triggered and started to move down. So I took it on the engulfing, but with the engulfing, you don't move it to one tick above there, do you? You put it to the previous swing. So and then obviously on this chart, when we had the lower high, that was the better option. You may call that a triple test lower high, but once that triggered that higher low, for me, it was coming down. But because I was kind of switching between charts, which isn't the best thing to do, it's just nerve-wracking. I don't like risking $400 odd. So the trouble is that ATR is a little higher than normal at the moment. But I think that higher low trapping, it looked much better when that lower high formed. So then I put my stop there, which was only a 3.25 point risk there. That's much better, but then we did drop. So how far did it go? So if I got in on the engulfing on the other one, which is around about here, so there's plenty of points in there anyway. So, but I don't know. At the moment, I'm kind of looking forward to the Christmas break. I am. So I'm going to call that. Well, it was 2 legs up. Second entry. What's it? Just leave it. Let's just put a plus 3 points. So where is this going? So. What I will say now is, I don't know, just finding trading setups nerve-wracking. It's because my accounts are starting to grow a bit now. I mean, I got, they're all around the 2.5 to 3,000. Well, 2.5 to 3,500. So they're growing, and it's making me a bit nervous. I've only really ever got up to the 26 and took a payment. But they're all 2.5 grand, and one's over 3.5 grand, and I've taken a payment out of one of them. So what I want to try and do is hold these accounts and get up to about the 5,000 and start trying to take 1,000 a month out of the 5 accounts, and then whatever else I make on top, if I do, just allow it to grow. And then when it gets to about 7,000, what I'd like to do is try and take 2,000 a month and then just start to extend more and more. But it's getting close to that area now, and I'm getting a bit nervous. I got to just try and relax a little bit. And it is bouncing around, but the setup was okay. But I'll show you again if you missed it. The trouble is, you got that many little calculations and no, not calculations, but you got that many little sort of brain cells, neurons firing about what's doing what. But we had 2 legs up like that. I expected this to fail, or at least come down and retest the lows, because we got a touch, and a touch. So I kind of like that. We've had the channel up break, attempt of a new high, strong push down up to the EMA, couldn't get above the EMA. So my gut feeling, this is going to come down. So when we had the 2 pushes up, we had the higher low, which triggered and immediately started coming down. So I got in there. Now, if you're taking I don't take many engulfings occasionally, but if you take an engulfing, you put it back to the previous swing, which was here. But then it's showing like $450 risk, which is just more than I really wanted. So, and then fortunately, there was another setup appeared there, the lower high, so you could call it 2 legs up, lower high, same again, trapping a bull bar. But in my opinion, this looked a bit cleaner. There's going to be traders wanting to go longer, you can guarantee it. But the lower high then, for me, that was a much better trade. So then I brought my stop down from here to here, and it was a much more manageable risk there. And it worked. Well, it was plenty of space. It went down, made the lows, and this is what I expected. Well, I thought it was going to do there, but I mean, if you'd have taken that, stop there, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't have got close anyway, and it would have gone down. At some point in my journey, I'd like to swing some of these maybe a little bit. If I can see a really nice setup or a nice correction, and I think, we have a leg down, 2 beautiful legs up. If there's space, we'll often have a full leg down. So what I might do, if I've got enough money and it's a small risk, if I've got $8,000-$10,000 in my account so I can go, it's a 2-point risk. I think this is worth holding for a second leg down or close to it. And then after that initial pullback, which we often do and take the stops, when we get a push again, I can take it to break even. But, just at the moment, there's 14 points there. And I go for 3, 13, 14 points. I go for 3. So you're talking 4.5 trades in one go then. I wouldn't be surprised if this was going to continue down some more. But, as your experience grows, or as my experience grows, and I can identify it doesn't always happen, but just now and again you'll spot something kind of nice, very clean. I wouldn't consider that clean. It wasn't far away, but if we had 2 legs up and a nice triple test here after a nice leg down, plenty of space to the lows, it's worth holding on in a lot of cases because they'll really work. And if I can get 5, 6, 7 trades in a row, the equivalent profit, my profitability will be, and that's the beauty. If you're above your $2,600 level on Apex, your drawdown stops. So there's no issues with drawdown. With going down 10 points and coming back. Not that I'd want to give up that much, but what you don't want to do is to have that move down when you've got drawdown, and then for it to come back, because you can blow your account without actually even losing a trade technically. Stopped out for 2 points when my take profit was 10. Yeah, it is annoying. If that would have been a bit cleaner, if that bar would have been sat here, a nice triple test, then, sometimes price does come down. You got people taking profits here, haven't you? For sure. And then, it's going to pull back a little bit. But yeah, sometimes it just, and then we get that strong move down. And look again, see. The way this is coming off, this is probably a spike and channel, so I'm going to drop that to there and take that up to about there, I think. Maybe even a bit lower. Yeah, I like that. Maybe something like that. Touch, or maybe it was that. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, it is frustrating when it comes back. Markets know how, they know how people trade them. They know where stops are. Certain entries traded off this line. They know stops are going to be down here in a lot of cases. It doesn't always do that. Sometimes it will bounce and push back up. But certain setups that are very obvious, we don't get a lot of them. But if you can see one and think, we all see them now and again and think this could do really well here, and often it does. So I think, if you've got a nice, comfortable amount in your accounts, and you got, it's only a 2-point risk and there's no drawdown issues, I think it's worth risking that 200 if you think you may get 10, 12, 15 points out of it. So I'm happy with my profits here. So what I'm going to do now is switch those off, and I'm going to move on to an evaluation. I want to keep nice and green. I've had a good week. I'm up 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm up over $1,000 per account this week. I started on 30 on some of them, so I'm up about $1,120 on each account this week. So that's a solid week for me. That's over a 4,000 month based on that. I mean, I could make money on a quarter of that. So FSX, that's a new one. Where are you from? You've got to be from the UK, haven't you, with a name like that? How you doing? So yeah, nice. So it's been about a $5,000 week for me. So it's been okay. So I want to kind of keep that. So I'm going to switch now over to, take a guess. Have I seen you before? I don't think I have I? There's one or two others from Essex that come in from time to time. Yeah, so have you got snow like we have down there? Mind you, you're kind of North London, aren't you? Still probably 25 degrees down there, isn't it? We've had some mind you, it's going to warm up tomorrow, and that comes with a price: heavy rain. Yeah, we've had a few inches, I think, here, but it's been cold the last couple of days, and I've only just given up wearing shorts. So that's the thing when you work from home. So channel up. It is, I think there's a good chance it's coming down, but I'm switching off my accounts and moving on to my evaluation. I know I'm going to end up a nice solid green week, so I'd rather switch to an eval. And this eval is not far off passing. There's quite a few, there. So let me just check this one's working.
Order
right.
submitted.
Yeah, beautiful. So I'm
Order
only,
canceled.
what am I, a few $100 away, 25 degrees here, Celsius. Where are you, bud? Where are you? Obviously, you're not in the UK. You're probably US, aren't you? I would have thought. Nice and sunny today. It is quite sunny today. It is a little milder. I went out to the shop earlier. It is a little milder here today, but tomorrow it goes from around about 4 or 5 degrees high Celsius to a 15 degree. Mexico, of course you are. To a 15 degrees. So it's going to warm up dramatically overnight, but we have got a lot of wet weather on the way. Mexico, I hate you. We talked about it the other day, didn't we? I hated you then. Oh, 25 degrees. That's nice shorts and t-shirt weather, that, isn't it? That's an average summer's day for us, I think. Mind you, I think, was it last year? I think it was the year before last. We hit 42 degrees, I think it was Cambridge area, I think, which was a big jump record for us. So you're Essex. So if Putin does decide to fire a nuke, I'm up in Shropshire, so I think I'm going to be okay. But you in Essex, you may have a rough time down there. Hopefully you won't. So let's have a look at this. There's a higher low there, big bearish drop off that. So let's see. It is getting a bit worrying, isn't it? I mean, the British government have chosen to give these missiles to be used, so they know the consequences, so they must know. They must know. They obviously know him, don't they? They're not completely oblivious to him, are they? When you do something like that, you have to take into consideration the possible ramifications. That's interesting. There's
Order submitted.
3 bounces off here, and there's a higher low there. Let's see if this triggers. It is just my evaluation. I like the fact that it's triggered that higher low. Let's see if it takes out that short first. And no, it hasn't pushed down. I thought that might be moved quite strong. Trouble is, leg up, 2 legs back. No, let's leave that.
Order
At the
cancelled.
moment, I've got this down as a possible channel down. But if I get that out of the way, it could be a channel with a break, 2 pushes to a new low. Yeah, let's just adjust that. So we know we've got that. We've had that break. There was a lower high, a retest, pushed down to a new low. There's support down there. You can see that. So I don't know. What's it doing at the moment? It's a bit random. What time is it? Okay, we've been going just over an hour. It's been a nice start for me. It's been a good week, actually. So I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a quick cup of coffee, and I'll be back about 3 to 5 minutes. Right, wow, okay, so leg and a leg. What's that measured leg? It's not far off, is it? Leg and a leg, not quite, and then back up. Best thing I ever did was buy a coffee machine. Can't beat fresh beans being ground. Good investment that was. Let's have a look. It's like a correction, that, isn't it? Before another push-up. It's kind of what the market's doing, is it? Push-up, correction, push-up, correction, push-up. Yeah, I bought one of those. Well, we call them Sage over here. What do they're Breville in the US. I bought one of those Barista Pros, and I've just got a latte now. You can't beat it if you get fresh bit, because sometimes the supermarkets just sell crap, and when you grind them, it just comes out black. But if you buy fresh coffee machine, it's like yellow, isn't it? You've got all the oils there and that crema. I have one every day without fail, usually in the mornings, but I haven't today. My wife doesn't work Fridays, see, so I've just been doing a bit of stuff around the house with her. So, where's this going? Up? I'm guessing probably. So if we can get a decent bounce off here, I prefer it to come down a little bit more. May have a go there. It is on an evaluation, but you may argue there's an overshoot there, which is not a major issue. No, actually, maybe not. I can drag that out a touch and tighten that. Maybe not. Okay, I'm just going to get an order ready here.
Order
It is only
submitted.
on evaluation. I'm not taking any more on my my PA accounts. Leg and a leg.
Order filled.
What do I need to pass it? Few $100, maybe one more tick. Leg and a leg. High and low would be nice here. So 2 legs back, bullish bar off the bottom. Yeah, you're in and out, aren't you? Well, you would be now, yeah. That would pass this. Guan. Oh, don't pull back now. That's a strong enough push, I think, to continue on up. I need a few more ticks out of that, though. Just can't skip a set. No, you can't really. A lot of the times I'll wait for a higher low, but under the circumstances, we've got some highs up here. I think that's good to take. Even sometimes, just when it breaks above it, maybe pause for a second. What I don't want is another leg. Sometimes it does that and spooks you, though, doesn't it? So let's just let it go. It's not going to go much more. That will pass this evaluation, I think. And then I've run out of ideas, I think. A couple of more ticks. Come on. One more. Come on. Come on.
Target filled.
Beautiful. That passed. What a day. Passed evaluation and a nice trade. I'm kind of run out of ideas now. So nice, pretty well. As far as a second entry, the only slight issue I have, depending on how you look at this, there may be a slight overshoot there, but I'm not necessarily convinced. But it's. I was talking about this the other day about legs, actual leg and a leg, as opposed to kind of something like that. You can see there's a leg and a leg. Well, it's like two pushes, isn't there? But that is Karina. How you doing, my friend? Probably test the 6000s. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, this to me looks like a leg up with a break, one attempt, and that to me looks like a correction. So I wouldn't be shocked if we had another. I think quite a few people took that if we had another leg, but I can't see another leg pushing up that width. So I wouldn't be shocked if we go a little bit sideways. So if I actually bring that to there, the trouble is, you may even say there's an overshoot there. I'm not convinced there is. Even so, a trade like that, it's going to work most of the time. I can't see any reason why that would fail. It depends how you got that. I mean, if you're following it up initially, you had it like this. The trouble is, obviously as price changes, so kind of does your channel. I can bring that to there, and it touches there, and it touches the top. Now, on a different chart, that might be a full green bar, in which case it does work. So, you done, are you? Yeah, you too have a nice weekend, bud. The thing is, if it's going to push up for another leg, I'd like to see a wider channel, so we may get another leg, and it may stop that out. But usually, when we have that second leg, if you've got a strong position, it may come right close to it, but a lot of the time, it won't take the stop. So, just out of curiosity, I'm just going to put that right at the bottom there and see if we do have another leg. And see how close it gets. But if you've got a strong position, hopefully it will come down, but it won't break below it. Guru, maybe today. You don't see the bad days where I blow them, but yeah, it's worked out nice today. Nice one trade on my PAs, so they're up a nice 3 points today, and that worked for that was about 3.25, wasn't it? Something like that. We have had some better looking setups the last few days. Second entry long plus. So it's not a bad day. Yesterday was horrible. It was just swinging. I hate days like that. There's no random top or bottom, so you can't, even if you treat it like a range, where the hell just short? Mac will say sometimes I love range days, you're short the top and buy the bottoms, but look, every time we're at different levels, so it's almost impossible to trade that as a range. Obviously, you can take them off the bottom, but it was flickering around a lot, so I didn't like that, to be honest with you. I did manage to get one trade, but I was kind of glad when it was over. You've paid for that single malt. I've paid for it today, yeah. In fact, I'm out today. I ran out last night. I did look earlier, but there was nothing I fancied. I've just finished. What was the bottle I had? I had two, actually. I had a 10-year-old Lafroig, and I think we had a Tamnavolin, a port cast Tamnavolin. They both come to an end, and I finished the one with a shot, and I had a double of the other one on that end. You have some good deals around Christmas, actually. I very nearly bought a Bunnahabhain, but I'd had one of those and I wasn't a massive fan of it. So, high-low maybe? Probably. So that one worked as well, if you like the higher-low. That's gone a bit too far for me for a higher-low. It's more a little channel in itself, but Morrison's have a nice 10-year-old single malt from Jura. I've had most of the Juras. I've had the 10-year-old Jura. I've had the rum cast Jura. I've had the... what was the last one we had? is there a sherry or red wine Jura? I've had the 14-year-old Jura. I've had the 10-year bourbon cask Jura. Yeah, you get some good deals on the Juras. In fact, there was an 8-year-old Lagavulin I nearly bought. That was down to £39, which is pretty cheap. It's usually about £50, that. But they're all right, the Juras. I like the Tamnavullins, actually. You can get some good deals. You can quite often get them for 24, 25 quid. They're normally in the 30s, but the red wine Tamnavullin goes down so easy. No, it's just, it is whiskey. What they do is they just mature it in an ex-rum cask. So something that previously asked rum. And you get little hints of rum. Depends on what type of rum. You get a little bit of, I don't know, it's kind of touch of sweetness in. Some people say they taste all these certain notes in whiskey. I've never found it that easy. Vanilla I can find a slight sweetness, but some people can pick cherries, sultanas, raisins. Some people can pick all those. I've never been able to. But yeah, they do have some. I like the rum cask ones. I've had a couple of those. I think there's a Glenlivet with an orange label that's a rum cask. I've had a few of those. 2 legs down, 2 legs up. Let's have a look. How long have we been going for? An hour and a half. Taylor took the higher low. If I was trading, I'd have taken that, I think. 2 legs back, we've had 1 push up and a pull back. Didn't get this low, so I would have taken it if I was trading something, but I've passed that evaluation and I'm not trading any of my other accounts today. I'm up 300 in them. So nice setup there, nice setup there. I think that was okay as well. So there was definitely some trades around today. It's moving a little bit cleaner and it's much easier to read today. And 2 legs up to a new high. Perfect. I mean, that channel's played out absolutely perfectly. Lovely second entry, lovely higher low, break, 2 perfect legs up to a new high. It's kind of like the perfect price action move, that really, isn't it? 2 legs down, 2 legs up, new high, played out. So I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's always a possibility. There's some support along there. There's always a possibility we could range between these levels, or we could get up for that second leg. That's possible as well. That to me looks like a correction. So either ranging off this top and bottom or pushing up for a new high, a new leg, one of the two, I think. So I'll tell you what, folks, I'm going to leave it there today. I've done an hour and a half, 2 nice trades. I've had a really good, solid week. My accounts are looking nice. So talking about whiskey, I'm going to finish my coffee and I'm going to go out and treat myself to a nice bottle. So it's been a good week for me, so I'm really pleased. I'm in a good place at the moment. Yeah, you too have a good weekend as well. So I'll be back again on Monday. We have... guys will probably shoot me for not knowing the actual date. We've got Thanksgiving, which is, I believe, on 27th, 29th. So it's probably Friday, isn't it? Market closes early Friday. I'm not even going to bother trading it, to be honest with you. It's a big holiday for you US guys. So I'm guessing markets will be flat. My experience of trading markets like that, it's just not worth it. It's like watching paint dry, but worse. So I'm going to take Friday off. I don't often take days off, but I'm going to do that one. My wife doesn't work Fridays, so I might take her out for dinner or something. But there you go. 2 nice trades. Not a bad day at all today. So I hope you've had some green today. Always nice green to end Friday with a green. It just makes that weekend a lot more relaxing, doesn't it? But there you go. So I appreciate the comments. Nice to have a few new faces in. So I'll be back on Monday, just around about 2:30 UK time, just before the sort of official market really opens. So have a great weekend, you too, bud. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll catch up on Monday. Bye for now.